What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this video, your brain is literally throwing away memories that could change your life forever? Here's the terrifying truth most people don't know. Your brain deletes up to 90 of new information within just 24 hours. That means if you learned something important yesterday, there's a 9 out of 10 chance it's already gone. But here's where it gets even more shocking. Memory researchers at Johns Hopkins University discovered that people who use specific memory techniques can retain information up to 600 longer than the average person. 600%. That's not just a small improvement. That's the difference between remembering someone's name for a few minutes versus remembering it for months. So why doesn't everyone know these techniques? Because the education system never taught them to us. We were told to study harder and repeat things over and over, but nobody explained how memory actually works. It's like trying to drive a car without knowing where the gas pedal is. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you forgotten someone's name seconds after meeting them? How often do you read something important, only to struggle remembering it a week later? How many brilliant ideas have you had in the shower that vanished by the time you got dressed? This isn't your fault. Your brain isn't broken. You've just never been shown the right way to use it. Today, I'm going to reveal 7 scientifically proven methods that can literally double your memory retention. These aren't theoretical concepts or complicated formulas. They're practical techniques you can start using immediately. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some people seem to remember everything while others forget their own phone numbers. But first, let me share something that will completely change how you think about memory. Last month, I met a 73-year-old woman named Margaret who could recite the first and last names of every person she'd met in the past 5 years. That's over 2,000 people. When I asked her secret, she said something that gave me goosebumps. I don't have a good memory. I just know how memory works. That's the difference we're talking about here. It's not about having a naturally good memory. It's about understanding how to work with your brain instead of against it. The human brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, each capable of forming thousands of connections. That means your memory capacity is virtually unlimited. The problem isn't space, it's organization. Your brain is like a massive library where someone threw all the books on the floor. The information is there, but you can't find it when you need it. Here's what's really happening when you forget something. Your brain doesn't actually delete memories. It just stops creating pathways to access them. It's like having a treasure map, but the roads to the treasure keep getting covered by weeds. The treasure is still there, but you can't reach it anymore. This is why you can suddenly remember a childhood smell like your mother's cooking when you sense it again, even though you haven't thought about it in decades. The memory was always there. Your brain just needed the right trigger to find the pathway. But what if you could keep all those pathways clear and bright? What if you could create memory highways instead of dirt roads? That's exactly what these 7 techniques will do for you. Before we dive into the specific methods, I need to warn you about something. Once you start using these techniques, you'll begin to notice just how much information you were losing before. It might actually be overwhelming at first. Students who learn these methods often tell me they wish they had known them years earlier, because they realize how much easier school could have been. But don't worry, I'll show you not just how to remember more, but how to remember the right things. Because having perfect recall of everything would actually be a curse. Your brain needs to forget some things to make room for what really matters. The 7 techniques I'm about to share with you have been used by memory champions, top students, successful entrepreneurs, and even secret agents. They're based on thousands of years of human experience, combined with cutting-edge neuroscience research. Ready to unlock your brain's hidden potential? Let's start with the most powerful technique of all, one that can literally rewire your neural pathways in less than 20 seconds. The first technique is so simple it sounds almost stupid. But here's the thing. It's backed by over 50 years of neuroscience research, and it can literally rewire your brain in just 20 seconds. I call it the repetition reset. And it's based on a discovery that won the Nobel Prize in medicine. Here's what most people do wrong when they try to remember something. They read it once, think, okay, got it, and move on. But your brain interprets this as, this information isn't important. File it away and forget about it. Within hours, it's gone. But when you use the 20-second rule, something magical happens in your neural pathways. You're literally forcing your brain to strengthen the connections between neurons, creating what scientists call long-term potentiation. Think of it like turning a dirt path into a highway. Here's exactly how to do it. When you encounter important information, read it or think about it once. Then wait exactly 20 seconds. Count them out if you need to, and repeat it back to yourself. Then wait another 20 seconds and do it one more time. That's it. 3 exposures, 20 seconds apart. Why 20 seconds? Because that's exactly how long it takes for your brain to reset its attention and treat the information as new again. When you repeat something immediately, your brain thinks it's the same event. But when you wait 20 seconds, your brain logs it as a separate, important event worthy of remembering. A study at the University of California proved this works with stunning results. Students who used the 20-second rule remembered 340 more information than those who just read material once. 340%. And here's the incredible part. This improvement lasted for weeks, not days. But there's a second layer to this technique that makes it even more powerful. While you're waiting those 20 seconds, don't just sit there. Use what I call productive interference. Think about something completely unrelated, your grocery list, what you'll have for dinner. Even count backwards from 100. This forces your brain to switch gears and come back fresh to the information. I learned this technique from a memory researcher who could memorize a deck of cards in under 2 minutes. He told me something that changed everything. The brain doesn't actually forget things. It just stops paying attention to them. The 20-second rule forces attention. Now, here's where most people mess this up. They try to use this technique for everything, and they burn out within a day. You don't need to use it for your grocery list or remembering where you put your keys. Save it for the important stuff. Names of people you meet, key concepts you're learning, passwords, important phone numbers, or critical information for work or school. Let me give you a real example of how powerful this is. Last year, I met a business executive who was struggling to remember client names during meetings. It was embarrassing and hurting his career. I taught him the 20-second rule, and within a month, he was remembering every name perfectly. His boss was so impressed that he got promoted, all because of 20 seconds. But here's the secret within the secret. The 20-second rule works even better when you combine it with emotion. When you repeat the information back to yourself, don't just say it mechanically. Feel something about it. If it's a person's name, imagine liking that person. If it's a concept, imagine being excited to learn it. Emotion is like fertilizer for memory. There's actually a scientific reason for this. Your brain has 2 main memory systems: the hippocampus, which handles basic memory storage, and the amygdala, which processes emotions. When both systems activate simultaneously, they create what researchers call flashbulb memories, memories so strong they can last a lifetime. Think about it. You probably remember exactly where you were during major emotional events in your life. That's because emotion and memory are hardwired together. The 20-second rule with emotional connection hijacks this natural system and makes any information feel important to your brain. Now, let me share technique number 2, and this one is going to blow your mind. It's based on a discovery about how your brain processes information while you sleep, and it explains why some people wake up smarter than when they went to bed. The second technique involves something you do every single night, but you're probably doing it completely wrong. Sleep isn't just rest for your body. It's when your brain performs the most incredible memory magic you can imagine. But here's the shocking part. Most people's sleep habits are actually erasing their memories instead of strengthening them. During the deepest phase of sleep, called slow-wave sleep, your brain does something extraordinary. It replays every important memory from the day at lightning speed, up to 20 times faster than normal. Scientists call this memory consolidation, but I like to think of it as your brain's nightly filing system. All the scattered information from your day gets sorted, organized, and permanently stored. But here's where it gets incredible. Researchers at Harvard discovered that people who learn something right before sleep remember it 250 better than those who learn it in the morning. 250%. Your brain literally uses sleep time to practice and strengthen whatever you learned last. This is why cramming all night before an exam is the worst possible strategy. You're fighting against your brain's natural memory system. Instead, here's what memory champions do. They review their most important information 30 minutes before bed, then go to sleep immediately. No TV, no phone, no distractions. Just sleep. I tested this myself when I was learning Spanish. For 1 month, I spent 20 minutes every night before bed reviewing vocabulary words. No studying during the day. Just 20 minutes before sleep. After 30 days, I had memorized over 600 words with almost perfect recall. My Spanish teacher couldn't believe it. But there's an even more powerful version of this technique. It's called targeted memory reactivation, and it sounds like science fiction. While you sleep, your brain can be triggered to strengthen specific memories using subtle cues. The easiest way to do this is with scent. Here's how it works. When you're studying important information, have a specific scent nearby, maybe peppermint oil or a particular candle. Then, use the same scent in your bedroom while you sleep. Your sleeping brain will detect the scent and automatically strengthen the memories associated with it. It's like giving your brain GPS coordinates to find specific memories during the night. A study in Germany proved this works with stunning results. Students who used scent cues while learning and sleeping improved their memory scores by 84% from just using a smell. Now let me share the third technique, and this one is absolutely mind-blowing. It's over 2,500 years old, but modern neuroscientists are calling it the most powerful memory technique ever discovered. The ancient Greeks used it to memorize entire books. Roman senators used it to deliver hour-long speeches without notes. And today, every single memory champion in the world uses this exact method. It's called the memory palace, or the method of loci, and it works by hijacking your brain's incredible ability to remember locations and spatial relationships. Your brain is naturally wired to remember where things are. It's a survival mechanism that helped our ancestors find food and avoid danger. Here's the incredible part. Your spatial memory is nearly perfect. You can probably navigate your childhood home in your mind right now, even if you haven't been there in years. You remember where every room is, where the furniture was placed, even small details like which way doors open. That spatial memory is virtually unlimited. The memory palace technique connects new information to these perfect spatial memories. Instead of trying to remember abstract facts floating in space, you place them in specific locations within a familiar place: your house, your route to work, your favorite store. Your brain treats this new information as if it's part of the physical environment, making it almost impossible to forget. Let me give you a simple example. Say you need to remember a shopping list: milk, eggs, bread, apples, and cheese. Instead of repeating the list over and over, you create a story using rooms in your house. You walk through your front door and see a cow in your living room producing milk. You go to the kitchen and find a chicken laying eggs on your counter. In your bedroom, there's a baker making fresh bread on your bed. In your bathroom, apple trees are growing out of your bathtub. And finally, in your garage, there's a mouse eating cheese on your car. This might sound silly, but your brain loves silly. The more absurd and vivid the images, the stronger the memory becomes. You're not just remembering a list anymore. You're remembering a story that takes place in a location you know perfectly. World memory champion Joshua 4 used this technique to memorize the order of a shuffled deck of cards in under 2 minutes. But here's what's really incredible. He says anyone can learn to do this. It's not about having a special brain. It's about understanding how memory actually works. The fourth technique builds on this foundation, but adds something that makes memories literally unforgettable. It involves a discovery about how your brain processes stories versus isolated facts, and why you can remember every detail of a movie you saw once, but forget important information you studied for hours. The fourth technique is based on a shocking discovery about how your brain is hardwired to process information. Neuroscientists found that when you hear isolated facts, only 2 areas of your brain light up: the language processing centers. But when you hear the same facts woven into a story, something incredible happens. Your entire brain explodes with activity. Your visual cortex starts creating images. Your motor cortex feels the actions. Your emotional centers engage with the characters. Your brain literally experiences the story as if it's happening to you. And here's the kicker. Information embedded in stories is remembered up to 22 times better than raw facts. 22 times. Think about that for a moment. You could spend 22 hours trying to memorize a list of facts, or you could spend 1 hour turning those facts into a story and remember them better. Which sounds more appealing? This is why you can watch a 2-hour movie once and remember the entire plot years later, but you struggle to remember what you studied last week. Your brain isn't designed to remember random facts. It's designed to remember experiences and stories. Here's how to use this superpower. Instead of trying to memorize isolated pieces of information, create a narrative that connects them all together. Make yourself the hero of the story. Add conflict, emotion, and vivid sensory details. The more ridiculous and engaging the story, the stronger the memory becomes. The fifth technique combines storytelling with what German psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus discovered about forgetting, and it can make any memory permanent. Ebbinghaus spent years studying how quickly people forget information, and he discovered something terrifying called the forgetting curve. Within 24 hours of learning something new, you forget 67 of it. Within a week, you forget 90. This isn't because you have a bad memory. This happens to everyone. But Ebbinghaus also discovered the antidote. If you review information at specific intervals, you can flatten the forgetting curve completely. The trick is timing your reviews just as your brain is about to forget the information. This forces your neural pathways to strengthen exponentially with each review. Here's the exact schedule that works. Review new information after 1 day, then after 3 days, then after 1 week, then after 2 weeks, then after 1 month. After that, the information is permanently stored in your long-term memory. 5 reviews total, strategically spaced, and you'll remember it for life. This is called spaced repetition, and it's the secret weapon used by medical students, language learners, and anyone who needs to remember massive amounts of information. The beauty is that each review takes less time than the last, because the memory gets stronger with each repetition. But here's the game-changing part that most people miss. You don't need to schedule these reviews manually. Your brain will actually tell you when it's time for the next review. Pay attention to how easily information comes to mind. If you have to struggle to remember it, it's time for a review. If it comes easily, you can wait longer. I learned this technique from a medical student who memorized over 20,000 facts for her board exams. She told me something that changed everything. I don't study harder than other students. I study smarter. 5 strategic reviews beat 100 random ones. The sixth technique takes this concept even further by using your body's natural rhythms to optimize when you learn and review information. Your brain has peak memory windows that most people completely ignore, and timing your learning to match these windows can double your retention without any extra effort. Research shows that your brain has 3 optimal learning periods each day. The first is 2 to 3 hours after waking up, when your cortisol levels are naturally high and your mind is most focused. The second is mid-afternoon, around 2 to 4 p.m., when your brain experiences a natural alertness boost. The third is 30 minutes before bed, when information gets prioritized for overnight consolidation. But here's the secret that memory experts know. Different types of information should be learned at different times. Learn new, complex information during your morning peak. Review and reinforce existing memories in the afternoon. And use that pre-sleep window for the most important information you want to remember permanently. The 7th and final technique is perhaps the most powerful of all, and it involved a counterintuitive discovery about forgetting. Scientists found that strategic forgetting actually makes your important memory stronger. It's like pruning a tree. By cutting away the unnecessary branches, the important ones grow bigger and stronger. The 7th and final technique is going to completely flip everything you think you know about memory. For decades, we've been told that forgetting is the enemy, that a good memory means never losing any information. But cutting-edge neuroscience has revealed something shocking. Strategic forgetting is actually the key to superhuman memory. Here's what researchers discovered at Stanford University. People with the best memories aren't those who remember everything. They're those who are exceptionally good at forgetting the right things. Your brain has limited processing power, and when it's cluttered with irrelevant information, it can't focus on what truly matters. Think of your brain like a smartphone. When you have 47 apps running in the background, everything slows down. But when you close the unnecessary apps, the important ones run lightning fast. Strategic forgetting is like closing those mental background apps. This technique is called intentional forgetting, and memory champions use it to achieve seemingly impossible feats. Before major competitions, they actually practice forgetting previous training sessions. They literally tell their brain that old information isn't needed anymore. Make space for what's coming next. Here's how you can use this superpower. At the end of each day, spend 5 minutes mentally reviewing what you learned. Then consciously choose what to keep and what to discard. Tell yourself, I'm choosing to forget where I parked my car today, what I had for lunch, and that random conversation about the weather. But I'm choosing to remember this important business concept, this person's name, and this key insight. Your brain will actually listen to these instructions. When you consciously decide to forget something, you free up mental resources for the memories that matter. It's like Marie Kondo for your mind. Keep what sparks joy and serves a purpose. Release everything else. But here's where this gets really powerful. There's a specific type of forgetting that actually makes your remaining memory stronger. It's called retrieval-induced forgetting, and it happens when you practice remembering one thing so intensely that competing memories fade away. For example, if you try to remember someone's name is David, and you keep practicing that name, your brain will automatically suppress similar names like Daniel or Derek. This isn't a flaw, it's a feature. Your brain is eliminating confusion and making the correct memory crystal clear. Memory athletes use this principle to memorize thousands of digits or cards. They don't just practice remembering the right information. They practice forgetting the wrong information. They train their brain to suppress competing memories that could cause confusion. Now, here's how all 7 techniques work together to create an unstoppable memory system. First, you use the 20-second rule to encode important information into your brain with maximum strength. Second, you time your learning and reviews to match your brain's natural rhythms, and use pre-sleep consolidation to make memories permanent. Third, you organize information using memory palace locations, turning abstract facts into concrete spatial memories. Fourth, you weave everything into vivid, emotional stories that make your brain treat information like personal experiences. Fifth, you use spaced repetition to review at exactly the right intervals, following the scientifically proven schedule that defeats the forgetting curve. Sixth, you strategically forget irrelevant information to make space for what matters. And finally, seventh, you practice retrieval-induced forgetting to eliminate confusion and make your important memories laser-sharp and instantly accessible. When you combine all 7 techniques, something magical happens. Your memory doesn't just improve, it transforms. You stop being someone who has a bad memory and become someone who simply knows how memory works. Remember Margaret, the 73-year-old woman who could remember 2,000 names? She uses every single one of these techniques. She encodes names with the 20-second rule, reviews them using spaced repetition, places them in memory palace locations, connects them to personal stories, times her practice sessions optimally, consciously forgets irrelevant details, and practices retrieving the right name while suppressing similar ones. The result? What looks like superhuman memory is actually just human memory used correctly. Here's your action plan. Don't try to implement all 7 techniques at once. That's a recipe for overwhelm and failure. Start with just one. I recommend the 20-second rule because it's simple and you'll see results immediately. Use it for 1 week on the most important information you encounter each day. Once that becomes automatic, add the pre-sleep consolidation technique. Spend 20 minutes before bed reviewing your most important information, then go straight to sleep. After another week, add the Memory Palace method for information that needs to be remembered in a specific order. Keep adding one technique per week until you're using all 7 naturally. Within 2 months, you'll have a memory system that rivals the world's best memory athletes. But remember, with great memory power comes great responsibility. Use these techniques to remember information that will improve your life, advance your career, and help you serve others better. Don't waste this incredible gift on trivial information. Your brain is the most sophisticated computer ever created. You just learn how to use it properly. The question is, what will you choose to remember? If this video has opened your eyes to what's truly possible with human memory, like this video and subscribe for more brain optimization techniques. Your future self will thank you for taking the first step toward unleashing your mind's unlimited potential.